Morning, morning, morning. Yes, we're back with another episode, another rider. Today we have the tall, strong, on the mend Steve. He's just had a hip operation, but he's walking on crutches, but he's doing quite well. He's actually a football player, so we're going to, for all those football fans, yes, we've had the Crawley football owner, we've had a QPR owner, we've had, not owner, player, we've had a Fulham player, and some other teams which I don't know about. Now we have Steve. It's nice to have you here today, Steve.
Lovely, thank you for having me. It's a bit unusual, but we'll go with it.
Okay, so first of all, what team do you play for? How long have you played for them?
So I'm currently at Southend. I'm the goalkeeper, and I've been there now for a year.
Okay. So let's start at the beginning. What kind of person were you when you were in school?
When I was in school, I hated it, but looking back now, I absolutely loved it. I was useless academic wise. I was honestly horrendous, but I used to just turn up, see me mates, have a laugh, not get into trouble. I weren't a troublemaker, but I just never done the work.
The fact that you had to throw that last line in is a bit suspicious there, Steve.
No, honestly, I do. Looking back now, they were like the best years of your life, weren't they?
Mm-hmm. So did you leave school with any GCSEs, or was it ECS?
I think my best grade was, I got a C in PE and I got a D in business. The rest were Fs.
Okay.
In IT.
But don't worry, mate, you're talking to a person who got a B and cheated on that.
Cheated?
Yes, I did. The teacher liked me, so she said, just copy Claire's work and don't copy it word for word. And then hand it in, and then when I copied it word for word, and then she just gave me a B, and that was like my only claim to some form of education.
We all could have cheated though. If we had like Google the way it is now back then, cool, we would have been laughing. I would have got grade A's, I think.
Yeah, but they have software now that does all this checking.
Really?
Yeah, because everything is typed, isn't it?
Yeah.
So they check formal documents. They have software that checks everything. So it's probably actually harder to cheat now.
Oh, no.
In that respect. So you left school. What was the next move after school?
Most footballers you speak to probably always knew that they were going to be a footballer. They would have been in there from under 11, 12. But I left school at 15, not knowing really what I was going to do. I wanted to be a plumber, and then in January, before leaving school, I had a phone call from Arsenal saying, "Would you like to come for a trial?" I was like,
Arsenal?
Okay, yeah.
All right, let's slow down a bit there. Were you playing football from what age? And were you always playing goalie?
Yeah. So from literally when I was walking, my dad had me wanting to play football. He wanted me to play as a striker, but he said even when he was a kid, he used to pick up the ball and run with it. So whether that had any...
He said,
yeah.
Dad, I'm not going to unless he put you in American football.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe I should have done rugby. Rugby, but...
Where you'd be getting two hips.
Or maybe I wouldn't be. But yeah, ever since I was a kid, as long as I can remember, I've always been a goalkeeper. I've always played football and just played for fun with my friends up until, like I said, I was 15. And then, Arsenal rang and said, "Would you like to come down for a trial?"
So what part I'm missing here is that suddenly Arsenal just...
Yeah.
Were you playing for a local team?
So I was playing for, at the time, Boreham Wood.
Okay.
Which is a team near me, where I grew up.
What area is that?
That's sort of just out North London, sort of near Barnet, Potter's Bar way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was Liam Brady, the club's academy director, I guess, at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a bit like, I don't really think I should be going. It felt a bit like imposter syndrome, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
And stayed there for 6 months, and then...
Oh, so you played for Arsenal for 6 months?
Yeah, only 6 months up until the end of the season. Left school. And then from leaving Arsenal, I went on a number of different trials, Fulham, Charlton, and ended up at Norwich City, where I stayed for 3 years. And that's really at Norwich where it all started.
So when you were 15 when you played for Arsenal?
Yeah.
So they weren't paying you?
No. So I was an under 15, just an academy player.
Was there lots of other players there?
Yeah, loads of players.
No, sorry, when I say players, obviously I'm a layman to football.
Yeah.
Ignorant to football, I should say. Was there lots of other goalies?
Yeah, so there was another goalie my age who like saw me come in as a bit of like
rival.
Yeah, but he actually won the battle because he stayed and I left. But that's what it's like. It's cutthroat even at that age. And I wasn't aware to all that. I was a bit like.
So your dad didn't warn you. Dad just said when they're not looking, kick him in the bollocks.
No, because my dad was. Although my dad played football all his life, he never played it to a professional standard.
And he's probably just happy and you was in the
I
club.
was buzzing, yeah. Even though
So my boy plays for Arsenal.
Well, we're big Tottenham fans.
Is
so,
it?
Yeah.
So, but you know what? Yeah, how did that go? Because I the other day I was driving down the street and it was Arsenal was playing Tottenham.
Yeah.
And you know the Holloway Road.
Yeah.
I was driving down the middle, and there was Arsenal fans come up in their t-shirts, and there's some guys. They must have been Tottenham fans.
Yeah.
And they started to go at it.
Nice.
and the meat wagon was just trying to calm them down. Guys, come on now, you don't need to do this. And they weren't having it.
No, honestly, obviously it's a big rivalry. And at first I was a bit like, nah, like it's Arsenal, but I'm proper Tottenham. And for the first couple of games, well, once I got in there, I'd actually wear my Tottenham t-shirt underneath my Arsenal top.
Really?
Yeah, I put it on slyly, like proper slyly, like face the wall in the corner. I put it on. Just cause
Did someone ever find out?
Nah.
You'd have been out.
I would have been out, man.
You'd have been out. Then they said, you might not even got out.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it was like. But, yeah.
What year was this?
2005.
Okay.
2005, yeah.
Alright, okay.
Yeah, so I left there, went on a couple trials, and then went up to Norwich. And even when I was at Norwich, I was like, so this is what I'm going to sort of fell into it. I didn't plan on doing it. And yeah, 15 years old, moved up there, a couple of hours away from home. It was real like, made you grow up quick.
Mm-hmm.
I lived in a house with 3 other boys and a new family. It was mad time, really. Mad time.
Wait a minute. So 3 other boys and so you left your family?
So I left my family, and they call them digs.
Yeah.
So
I know digs. Yeah.
Had digs, and it's like this lady had her and her husband, a son who at the time was probably 22, 23, a daughter who was about 20, and then.
The sons were playing for Norwich?
No, for Norwich. No, they were just doing their own thing. But she had 2 other boys that played for Norwich stay at her house as well. And then I came in, so she had 3 of us staying there, plus her kids, plus her fella.
Was it a big house?
Yeah, it was quite a big house, to be fair. It had like enough rooms we had a room each.
Yeah,
she was a lovely lady, a proper lovely lady. But it's just a weird scenario to be in at that age. Like, away from all my friends, like having to integrate into a new team. It was tough, man, really tough.
Oh, and Northerners are different from us.
Yeah, they're probably, it's Norwich, it's Norfolk. They're like, it's honestly, the pace of everything was so slow. Like, no one seemed bothered. The football club was alright, because that was...
Is Norwich in, what league are they in?
They're in the Championship now, so one below the Prem.
Oh, so you've gone from Arsenal to thing. Alright. But going back to Arsenal, how was the training there? Because I've obviously never interviewed a goalie before, and you spoke about diving, and you've had to have a hip replacement, and you're only in your 30s.
Yeah.
Now, is that due to the sport you play?
Yeah. So, the facilities at Arsenal was like out of this world, like phenomenal. It was probably the best in Europe at the time.
Not better than Tottenham.
Probably, you know where
I didn't throw that in there.
Where Tottenham is now, that's probably where London Coney was, their training ground, how good that was back then. But yeah, my injury is just basically wear and tear of diving and like.
Don't you, like I have to stress my ignorance in football, what protective gear do you wear as a goalie?
So I do actually, they're called G-Shock, they're like cycling short with, it's got this fin padding that sort of reacts when it's and it's not the best, but I probably should have been wearing it my whole career, or the majority of my career, but I've only been wearing it the last year or so, and I think it's been too late.
How long have you been playing football? 15 years?
15, 16 years.
So it will do that.
But there's definitely something there, like you said earlier, there's something there to be made where it can
Yeah.
Because you think about it, you're diving around on all these different surfaces, like your body's taking a hit, man, massive hit, especially as you get older as well.
Yeah, and now you're going to be diving, you're going to be pins and bolts and stuff, not trying to...
You're going to be hearing me hitting the floor, man. It's going to be rattling around.
Someone coming with some WD-40.
That's what I need, guys. That's what I need, man.
Okay. So, what kind of training were you doing at Arsenal?
So that was basically, it's where I sort of, I learnt my trade. So, real technical stuff, in aspects of diving, learning how to dive correctly, how to fall correctly, and just getting a general understanding of the game. Because I come from literally nothing, just had no technical side to my game. I was playing with my friends, so that was a real bit ironic. We're going past Wembley there. Yeah, it was just learning my trade there, man. With some of the greatest coaches available to you.
Okay. And that 6 months, what was the overall thing you learned that you would share with a younger person?
Initially, how good these kids were, like out of this world, and how much dedication and hard work you needed to even get alongside them.
Are we talking goalies or players in general?
Players in general, and for me the goalies, obviously. I was like, wow, there's no way I'm gonna be as good as that. And I think that held me back a little bit in my early career. Like I said before, I felt like a bit of an imposter in probably the first 4 or 5 years. Almost felt like I didn't belong there.
So your dad was very supportive.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you? And I only ask this not to have a dig at your dad or anything, it's because people who listen to this have younger children who are going through what you're doing. How else do you feel your dad could have been more supportive? Because you spoke of imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Is there other things that you felt would have gone a different way if you had more support?
No, honestly, he was unbelievable. He'd take me everywhere. He would always tell me, he's like, Steve, you're better than these already. You're better than these already.
So he gave that mental...
He honestly tried to, but it was something in my makeup where I just didn't believe I was. Until I was probably, what am I now, 33, until I was probably about 24 even. And I think that really, really held me back. It was a confidence issue, where I think where I came later in the game, I almost didn't believe in myself. Looking back now, it's a massive factor in why I probably didn't go from there and stay there, or stay higher, where I literally dropped down, got up, dropped down, got up. But now my old man, he couldn't do any more for me in that respect. And my mum, to be fair, both of them.
Okay, that's good. So as a goalie, the football boots are the same. Everything apart from those padded.
Yeah, everything apart from your gloves as well.
And the gloves.
And it does. I'm talking about mentality here. Like it takes something a bit wrong or a bit different upstairs to be a goalie, because you could make 5, 6, 7, 8 unbelievable saves, and then you make one mistake, and that's it. The game's done, and you're remembered for making that one mistake. It doesn't matter how well you've played. So you've got to be mentally
So
tough.
You're only as good as your last job.
Oh, massively. You're only as good as your last game, massively.
Yeah, your last game in that sense. But that's like a lot of industries.
Yeah.
You could. I'm ex-military. You can win many battles on the battlefield, but you make one mistake, someone dies.
Exactly.
Your opposite dies.
Is that what you are?
Yeah. So that would be in that respect. That's why I asked you, because your day sack is something we would have. Yeah, and that kind of thing. So you're very tall. How tall are you?
I'm 6'5".
Really?
6'5", yeah.
Okay. All right. So I hear goalies are tall. Is that true?
Yeah, in general now. But you can get away with being smaller. It's not all about height. Especially these days, it's about being an extra player with your feet. I think that's a big factor now, yeah. Whereas I'm sort of...
What do you mean? Don't you just have to save the ball, catch it, and then you hug it, innit? You hug it on the floor.
Time waste.
No, you can't have it. No.
Now it's all about being that extra player with your feet. Whereas, like, my generation, I was a sort of cross between the change of using your feet as well, or just using your hands. So now you've got to be that all-round player. Whereas when I was younger, it was like, oh, he's a good size. We'll put him in goal. Like, do you know what I mean? He'll come for crosses. He'll be a good presence. Whereas now they're looking at everything.
What work can you do? Can you double up as an extra player when needed?
Exactly.
Like when someone pushes someone or kicks someone, and you can
get involved in the outfit.
That means your job is probably the hardest job on the pitch then.
Look, I'm biased. I'm massively biased. I'd say so massively.
Yeah, because from the sound of it, you've got to dive around on the floor, you've got to be in the goal, but then you also got to double up as a defender.
Yeah. In terms of like hard working running, not so much, because a midfielder will do that all day long. They'll always be fitter in running terms, but as a goalkeeper, you just got to have so many bows to your string now. But yeah, it's a class position. I love it, man. I absolutely love it, and I think you've got to.
So you said you moved from Arsenal to Norwich. How long were you at Norwich for?
I was at Norwich so I'd done my YTS there, as it was back then. It was basically
youth training scheme.
Yeah, and then I'd done years professional there. So 3 or 4 years it was my life up there, like grounded, if you like. So,
don't want to put your business out there, but just so people can be inspired, what does a player start off on in a league such as Norwich?
So this is one below the Premier League. Norwich is a big club, to be fair. They get 30,000 a week, and we're in the youth team.
Oh, 30,000 players?
30,000 fans.
Fans, sorry, yeah.
Fairly big club. And we was in the youth team, and I think my first wage was £40 a week.
What?
Yeah. Like, honestly, £40 a week, which equates to, when you do the math, £160 a month.
And how old were you then?
16.
That's sure. Isn't there a law against that? Oh, it's a YTS training scheme. That's why.
Yeah,
so they could get away with doing that. They said, we're training you for a trade.
Yeah.
But they're not necessarily going to keep you afterwards, are they?
So that was the first year.
Yeah, so I remember that £40 figure now. That comes to my head.
Second year was 55. I thought I was rolling it then, man. Thought I'd made it.
55 quid?
55 quid, mate.
A week?
Yeah, could go cinema, could buy a pair of trainers.
And you were 17 now?
16, 17. And then once you completed that, and then you get your professional contract, and then it starts building up. So after that, it was, what was it? I can't. 300 maybe, £300 a week, which isn't great, but it's like.
And this is in 2000 and.
So that would have been 2006, 7.
So all meals and accommodation, is that paid for?
All paid for, yeah.
Oh, so they're taking that into consideration.
Yeah, so it's literally spending money, like.
Yeah, so they're saying, well, you love the sport, you're playing, you can chat to your mates, you can tell, you're gonna get all the birds.
Yeah, well, that's what it was back then. That's massively what it was.
Yeah.
Like,
so you're going to all the it's a Premier League, not Premier League. What league was it? Championship. Sorry, I'm really ignorant.
Yeah, that's fine, man.
So you're going to all these special parties.
Yeah.
And that.
I wouldn't even say that. We was like so as a first year pro, you're still obviously a kid, you're 17, 18, but you're in a dressing room with these boys who are on 15, 20 grand a week. Bearing in mind I'm only on 300 quid a week. It's like these boys are going to all the parties, all the VIP stuff, and we're tagging along with them. But people don't know that we're only on like minimum wage, if that. So that was the biggest thing for me. It was like,
so you have to be good mates with them, so they buy all the drinks.
They would look after you anyway. They would like.
Oh, it's just a given.
Yeah.
When I moved in, someone looked after me, so I look after.
Yeah. We had Dion Dublin. He was a striker. He was honestly, one of the kindest, best guys to be around. Like, he'd been there, done it, played for Man United and everyone, like, real big name in the game. And he just used to look after all the young lads, all of them. Like, this is going to sound silly. I remember being in McDonald's after a game, like after a pre-season game, and there was like me and about 5 or 6 of the younger lads, and he just came in there, and it always stayed with me. It was like, oh, what are you getting, boys? And we said to it, and he just bought us all in. And at the time, I know it doesn't seem a lot, but it probably wasn't a lot to him. It probably equated to about 70, 80 quid, but we was like, fucking hell, he didn't have to do that. He just bought us all our food and everything. So and it stayed with me forever, man.
But you'll remember that though.
Yeah, massively. And it was only a tiny little token gesture. But
So Dion Dublin,
Dion Dublin, what a guy, man.
when I take your details, you need to write that down so I can hashtag him in this interview.
Honestly, man.
This is shout out to Dion Dublin.
Mate, what a guy.
Oh.
Not just that, everything. He was class.
Is he Irish guy?
Nah, he is. Where's Dion from?
Which is Dublin. I just think of Dublin.
Nah, Dion. He's English.
Alright.
But
Could be Irish descent with a name like
there
Dublin.
there must be something in there, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you moved from Norwich. You spent how many years in Norwich?
So 3 years at Norwich, and then I dropped all the way down in the pyramid into the conference, and that was an eye opener.
What's a conference?
The conference, so you've got Premier League, Championship, League 1, League 2, then the conference, which is basically like you're not professional, although it's full time, you're not classed as professional.
What happened there? Why you dropped?
I just literally needed game times because at Norwich I wasn't playing.
Well, how can you not be playing?
Because there's 3 or 4 senior goalkeepers.
Oh, is it?
I was an 18-year-old goalkeeper at the time.
Okay.
So you need to be playing, and I wasn't.
Did you have a word with the coach?
Yeah, and he was like, look, there's not going to be nothing here for you. What you're better off doing is dropping down and getting games and building yourself back up that way.
Then why would they take you if that was the case? I'm a bit confused.
Because that's what they do. They need a young goalkeeper around for training purposes, and also I had an England goalkeeper above me who was
played for the England team.
Played for England. I had 2 England goalkeepers below me. So like I was never realistically really gonna carry on there. So yeah, I took the decision. I was like, yeah, no. Well, decision was made for me, but I was like, yeah, sweet. I'll go and play. A
bit pushed more than okay.
So yeah, went down there, and that was an eye opener. I'd gone from all these lovely facilities to literally training on an open parking. It was great, great athletic.
So. I'm not one to always bang on about mental health, but how did you deal with that psychologically?
That was tough, man. Tough, because for the last, from being at Arsenal, then going there, for the last 4 years, all my mates, all my family's been like, oh, Steve's doing well, he's at Arsenal, he's at Norwich, oh yeah, he's got his pro deal now. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, where are you now, Steve? I'm at Grays Athletic. What's that? Where's that?
Yeah.
No one had any idea.
Grays is down east.
Yeah, it's like
east. Yeah, east. The docks, isn't it, or something?
Yeah, it's not too far. Yeah, it's not too far.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was tough to take, man.
Were you married then?
Nah. So I was literally just found my missus then. So I was 18, 19.
Oh, okay.
Although I was playing football, so I didn't really mind, and the money was alright. The money was better than what I was on Norwich. It was still a bit, I don't want to say embarrassed, but I suppose it was a bit embarrassing going from up there down to there. But I had to do what I had to do. Do you know what I mean? You
know what, my friend? I will say this to you: it's never embarrassing. You know why? Because you're doing something you love.
Yeah.
You're playing and getting paid for it. Now, if you were a person who was arrogant or big-headed or that kind of thing, it's embarrassing. But if you're just like, listen, it's a game. I like playing a game. From what you're saying is reality. I can see it's a sensitive point, but you admitted to yourself there's 2 England goalie players above me and below me.
Yeah.
And I wasn't able to get in the game, so what can I do?
Yeah, that's what it was.
Do you know what I mean?
That's the reality of football. It's brutal, and that's not. I weren't making excuses. I just weren't good enough at the time for them, and I needed to hone my trade, needed to learn my trade, and that's what it done that year. So I was there for a year at Grays, and it was a real eye opener. Thinking, right, I don't really want to be here, so I'm going to graft. To get back up to some sort of level.
How did Grays welcome you? Did they?
Yeah, fine, but the club itself.
They were happy to have you.
Yeah, but the club was dodgy. I'm talking like, so everything got paid into my bank account normally, as you do, you get your wage slip.
Yeah.
Here it was like, I was getting half check, half cash. The check was bouncing. The cash would come in like brown envelopes. It was nuts. I was like, oh my word. I didn't see a wage slip for that whole year. Like, and if we went on the losing streak, we wouldn't get our wages. It was funny.
Yeah.
Looking back, it was funny. It was mad. But at the time, I was like, oh my word. Like, but that drove me on a little bit. Drove me on to be like, I don't want to do this for longer than I have to. If you know, no disrespect.
I see. No, but it's you've looked at the glass half full.
Yeah.
Right. How can I get right with this? How can I make this worth my while?
Yeah, massively.
And that's the military mentality.
Yeah, man.
You know, it's a crap sandwich. We all have to take a bite. But then what are we going to do? It's toothpaste and mouthwash.
Yeah, and that's what it was. And to be fair, my parents, it was like, look, if you don't want to do it, don't do it. Like, but you're good enough to get back up the ladder.
Yeah, reclaim story.
Yeah. So that's what I did. I'd done a year there, and then got noticed by Wycombe Wanderers, who were League One at the time, which is Premiership, Championship, League One, and got signed by them, and back into proper, as I call it, proper professional football.
What league has Wycombe won?
So Wycombe, they're in League One, so that's 3 below.
The third division.
Basically, third division, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I spent 3 years there. 3 years, yeah. With some really good people. Ended up going on loan. So I was still 20.
So how does that work?
What's that, going on loan?
Yeah.
Well, they had an older experienced goalkeeper that was always going to play. The manager said that. He was like, but we really like you. We want to send you out on loan, get some experience.
And they get more money from you.
So basically, they get the benefit of me playing games, which is beneficial for them. My wages get covered by the club I'm going on loan to. So they're a win-win, really. And done the season at Hayes and Yedding, which were like, they were in the conference as well. It was a bit of similar setup to Grays.
So, okay.
But I wasn't affiliated with them, if that makes sense. I was always at Wycombe, trained at Wycombe, got the benefit. All I was doing, literally playing games, which as a young goalkeeper or a young player you need. So I had that. And then come the end of the season, my third season at Wycombe, it was like, look, you can stay and fight for your place here with the number one, who's an experienced older keeper, or you can take a risk and go and try and find proper first team football.
Do keepers support each other?
Yes, honestly, I've only been in a situation where it was not great. So you're straight on
over the roundabout.
Yeah, it's a weird dynamic because you're all playing for one spot and you all want to play, but at the same time you're a tight unit and you're willing each other on. And more often than not, it's really like a really good place to be. But there's been one time where it's been.
That's the Arsenal.
No, it wasn't even Arsenal. It was like I won't say just in case, but he was a horrible twat, and no one liked him. It was just a horrible place to be. Like, he would do everything to like sabotage. Exactly. But yeah, like, I left Wycombe, went to Stevenage for a League One, and I was 22 playing in League One, and I sort of found my feet, and I was like on the right trajectory now, and
Okay. So you ended up after that. You went back. You went back to the fourth or the fifth division kind of thing with the comprehensive.
So Wycombe, I went on loan to Hayes.
Yeah.
Finished at Hayes. Left Wycombe, who were in League One. Joined Stevenage, who were in League One. But I was playing now properly.
What league is Stevenage?
Pardon?
What league is Stevenage?
League One, so still a really good standard.
Okay, yeah.
For a young goalkeeper playing.
So you're learning all the time.
Learning all the time.
So you're getting a vast amount of experience.
Yeah.
But you're just not wearing the padded shorts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I had 2 years at Stevenage. New manager came in. didn't see eye to eye. It happens. So I
What
left.
was wrong with that manager? Was it why not seeing eye to eye? Was it?
He was a taskmaster. He had a bit of a reputation in the game for being like. He's Graham Wesley. He like, if people know football, lower league football, they'll know what he's like. He basically used to run you into the ground. Like, you do gym in the morning, have a meeting, train, gym in the afternoon. But it wasn't relevant, if that makes sense. It was just like.
Like what we call in the military, you're getting us battle fit, but there's no battle.
Yeah, honestly, it was like he was trying to break you. He was trying to break you, and it worked to a degree, but like only to like a level. And yeah, me and him just didn't see eye to eye. Like, as soon as he came in, he was like, "You're not for me. I'm going to play the other goalie." He like pulled us both in. I was like, "Oh wow!" So I don't even get a chance to like show you. He was like, "Nah."
Did you say why though?
Yeah, I said why. He said he's older, he's more experienced, and I trust him more. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to prove you wrong, but in the end, I didn't. He was set in his ways, and that was that. So I left, joined Forest Green in Gloucestershire. I'm trying to like make it
Division 3 as well.
No, that was back in the conference.
Conference. Okay.
But the money was really good, and at that point, I had stuff to pay for. Like, I was 24, 25, and yeah, you go, okay.
You had the child by then?
No, we was going through IVF, but obviously you're looking at houses, buying a house, and like, I needed the money. You need to follow the money, and it was a really good club, really, really good club, going in the right direction. Good owner, lovely place to live. Mm-hmm. So I stayed there for 2 years. I'm trying to cut this. Where did I go after Forest Green? Forest Green. I went to Gillingham for a year with my Forest Green manager, which was back in the league. So I've always gone from up and down, up and down. From Gillingham, I went to Shrewsbury. Shrewsbury was a really nice place, but at this point, our IVF journey was really kicking in, and I couldn't be away from home. So I only spent a year there, but I loved it. But I had to be back home, so I moved home.
Do your part.
Yeah, and I moved to Northampton for 2 years, which was a really good club. We got promoted, played at Wembley, won at Wembley. It was a really good time. And then, yeah, I left Northampton and signed for Southend just last year.
And that's the Boreham Wood.
Yeah.
Are they in the what's he call it? Comprehensive?
Boreham Wood are in the conference now.
Yeah, conference.
Yeah, and same. So I'm at Southend literally now, and I've sort of come full circle, gone all the way round, floated from League 1, League 2, conference, and sort of done them 3 leagues. But it's been a
journey.
Yeah, it's been a journey, man. I've enjoyed it.
I've enjoyed this interview. It's very informative, very enlightening. I hope it really, you sharing your gifts, we appreciate that, and I hope it helps the younger people coming up. What would you say you've learned from this whole experience that you wish you knew when you had started?
I wish I worked harder when I was at Norwich. I wish I gave it everything, but I wish I knew how to, if that makes sense. Like I would just do enough. Looking back now, and that wasn't me being arrogant, it's because I didn't know. I didn't know how to like go that extra mile, or I just thought doing enough was all right and it would see me through. Whereas I should have had the mentality that I've had later on in my career to really fucking just say, no, I'm doing this, I want to do this. Like, instead of just going, oh, training's finished, that's it. Oh, gym's finished, that's it. That's us done. Where in reality, if you wanna make it to a level and stay at a level, you've got to graft so hard.
That's like Kobe.
Yeah. Honestly, and you get found out, and I probably got found out at that early age, and the lack of belief as well that I had. That goes hand in hand. So my biggest things was self-belief. Even if you don't think you are, pretend, because people don't know that you're pretending.
Or just do it.
Honestly,
because it's not, whether you believe or not, you still need to do the job.
Yeah, exactly.
What does the future hold for you?
Hopefully after this operation, I've got a good few more years, 3 or 4 years, and then after that, I think I'm going to go into coaching with hopefully at Southend. But if not, yeah, I'll definitely stay in the game because I feel that I've got so much to give.
Okay. And there's one part of your future you've left out. Padded shorts.
Padded shorts. We'll get that. We'll get that patent or something. It's going to work.
Where can you've been a great guest. Where can people find you on social media?
On social media, it's Armboat on Twitter, and Instagram's at Steve Arnold, I think.
Do you want to spell that for us?
Here's what I found.
Oh, my watch keeps going off. So Armboat on Twitter. So it's at ARNBOAT.
Yep.
And Instagram is steve.arnold89.
Well, thanks a lot for that, and we wish you well.
Cheers, geez. Thank you, man.
All right.